Ladies and gentlemen, today's graduation ceremony is about to begin. The American paratrooper, born of fire in the skies of World War II more than a half-century ago, has since struck fear and terror in the hearts of those foolish enough to oppose them. Relentless in their skills and courage, not only in the air, but also on the ground, these brave soldiers have forged for themselves a place of honor in America's hearts. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Staff Sergeant Blake Gaynor, originally from Dallas, Texas. It is my proud honor to describe for you today a demonstration of precision freefall as performed by members of your United States Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. At this time, members of the tryout demonstration team are circling high overhead in our distinctively painted UV-18 Viking Twin Otter aircraft at an altitude of 12,500 feet. The jump master is actually looking out of the left door of the aircraft. Her head is outside in the wind and the cold. Through a series of hand and arm signals, the jump master is relaying heading corrections to the pilots, maneuvering the aircraft to a precise exit point for the jumpers. The aircraft has been slowed to a safe exit speed of 120 miles per hour, the same speed as a free fall parachutist at terminal velocity. Watch closely and you may see the nose of the aircraft move slightly left or right in response to these steering instructions. As the aircraft gracefully crosses overhead, the jump master gives the crossed arm signal of hot target, signifying that the airspace is clear and it is safe to jump. Watch momentarily for jumpers to exit. The jumpers are out and the smoke is on. We now have Golden Knights rapidly approaching speeds of 120 miles per hour. The initial part of the formation is called the base, and it forms quickly as the initial jumpers fly their bodies together while interlocking their arms and legs to form the nucleus of the formation. The remaining jumpers set up slightly above and outside of the formation, awaiting the team leader's call. At 9,000 feet, she pops up, signaling the outside jumpers to fly to the base. As they fly closer and closer together, they use their hands, arms, legs, and shoulders as flight controls, allowing them to safely complete the formation. The formation continues to fly at 120 miles per hour as the free fall photographer circles. As they approach 5,000 feet, the team leader pops up, signaling the outside jumpers to perform our bomb burst maneuver. The base continues to fall, gaining vertical separation just prior to their deployment at 2,000 feet. Watch for the parachutes. And there you have the high-flying black and gold of your United States Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. Now, as you may have guessed, these jumpers are faced with a unique situation, a traffic jam in the sky. They must gain vertical separation in order to allow for individual approaches into the target area. This is accomplished by pulling down on the front part of the parachute and spiraling down at speeds in excess of 60 miles per hour in order to set up a traffic pattern just like you might see aircraft at a busy airport. The parachutes used by the Golden Knights are flexible wing gliders. Constructed of a lightweight, ripstop nylon material, these parachutes have an inherent forward airspeed of 22 miles per hour. To turn left, the jumper pulls down on the left steering line. To turn right, the jumper simply pulls down on the right steering line. As the jumpers near the ground, they will pull down on both steering lines simultaneously for the safest and softest possible landing. The average Golden Knight is 26 years old, has over 1,200 free fall parachute jumps, and is proficient in one of the over 200 military occupational specialties available in today's Army. He or she joined the Army for a multitude of reasons that include training, educational benefits, adventure, excitement, and a chance to mature. In short, to get an edge on life and join America's greatest team. As our first jumper enters the target area, make some noise and let her know where you're at. As our next jumper enters the target area, you may notice the 7 openings in the front of the parachute, allowing air to be forced in, inflating the flexible wing glider. High standards identify the individual members of the United States Army Parachute Team. They are selected not only for their parachuting skills, but their soldiering abilities as well. As Golden Knights, they are defenders and ambassadors, citizens in the uniform of the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, looking high overhead, it may appear as if 2 canopies have become entangled, but that is not the case. These jumpers are performing a facet of the sport known as canopy relative work. The formation you see here is called a down plane, as these jumpers scream back towards Earth at 90 miles per hour. You may hear the command brake given at 300 feet prior to the jumper splitting to land on the target. Unlike military jet teams, the United States Army Parachute Team is comprised of mostly non-commissioned officers. The 89 men and women of the Golden Knights come from various jobs throughout the Army to serve 4 years on one of the 5 major sections of our team. Our administrative support section contains the Office of Command, Logistics, Operations, Parachute Maintenance, and Media Relations. Ladies and gentlemen, as this last jumper enters the target, watch the tail of the parachute curl under, slowing his forward speed while also reducing his rate of descent. Since the colors of the Army are black and gold, so are the names of our team. The team performing for you today is the graduates of the 2018 Golden Knights Assessment and Selection. The United States Army Parachute Team was formed in 1959 at the home of the airborne Fort Bragg, North Carolina. At that time, the team consisted of 19 original members. Each was selected to assist in the development of modern parachuting techniques, to provide world-class competition parachutists, and perform live aerial demonstrations in support of Army public relations and recruiting. In 1961, we were designated the Army's official aerial demonstration unit, and 1 year later, we adopted our nickname, the Golden Knights. Now, as the last of our jumpers remove their equipment, I would like to introduce the jumpers in order of their performance. But first, performing the difficult duties of ground control. From Bushnell, Illinois, he's an airborne artilleryman with 1,839 free fall parachute jumps, Sergeant First Class Ty Statler. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the graduates of the 2018 Assessment and Selection. From Shelby, North Carolina, he's an airborne parachute maintenance technician with 310 free fall parachute jumps, Staff Sergeant Houston Creech. Hailing from Fredericksburg, Virginia, he's an airborne infantryman with 354 free fall parachute jumps, Staff Sergeant Mitch Stockenberg. Coming from Clarkston, Michigan, he is an airborne parachute maintenance technician with 347 free fall parachute jumps, Sergeant Luke Connor. From San Clemente, California, he's an airborne parachute maintenance technician with 452 free fall parachute jumps, Staff Sergeant Edward Segovia. From Montezuma, Iowa, he's an airborne practical nurse with 364 free fall parachute jumps, Specialist Skylar Romberg. Hailing all the way from Maple Valley, Washington, he is an Airborne Special Forces Weapons Sergeant with 2,805 free fall parachute jumps, Sergeant First Class Isaac Hansen. And from Tampa, Florida, he's an Airborne Ranger with 834 free fall parachute jumps, Sergeant First Class Ryan O'Rourke. And leading the tryouts in free fall, she is the team leader for the Golden Knights Assessment and Selection 2018. From Rowlett, Texas, she's an Airborne Combat Medic with 13,849 free fall parachute jumps, Sergeant First Class Angela Navarro. Ladies and gentlemen, please pull out your phones and cameras for this unique photo opportunity as our UV-18 conducts a low-altitude, high-speed flyby. It gives me great pleasure to present to you the newest members of your United States Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. Within the U.S. Army parachute team, a knighting is the defining moment for candidates who have worked for many weeks to improve the myriad of skills required to become a Golden Knight. The knighting ceremony dates back to medieval times when a squire had proven his worth over several years and his king saw it fit that the squire would be knighted. Over the years, the ceremony has changed, but the basic ingredients remain the same. The new knight received his armor. His golden spurs replaced the silver ones he had worn as a squire, and his sword was girded around him. He was given a blow on each shoulder and was then a knight, ready to take his place amongst his peers. Here, we use no armor and need no spurs, but we do arm the new knights with much, much more. Lieutenant Colonel Ned Marsh and Command Sergeant Major Aaron Moore have moved forward and are knighting each of these new teammates with an Excalibur style sword. As each of the 7 new teammates is knighted, the graduating soldier will sound off with the last stanza of the Golden Knight Creed. It states, "When I have gained the respect, admiration, and gratitude of the American public and my teammates, then I have fulfilled my mission as a Golden Knight." Throughout the duration of this course, the candidates and cadre have completed 1,872 free fall parachute jumps. This program started on September 4th with 13 candidates. Today, 7 have been selected and will be knighted to join the ranks of the elite Army parachute team. At the conclusion of today's performance, please feel free to come out and congratulate these fine soldiers and join us for a reception in the hangar. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony for the 2018 Assessment and Selection Program. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being such a warm and receptive airborne audience. In closing, I leave you with this final thought. In the future, may all your days be prosperous and your nights golden.